Welcome to the Light the A Sports Podcast, home of the top interviews of Aggie Sports Nation.
Former Utah State basketball head coach Rod Tueller. Utah State gymnastics coach Kristen White. Well, welcome to the program, John Eccles. Ashley Cardozo. Welcome to the program, former Utah State running back Emmett White. How you doing?
And now, here are your hosts, Jason Walker and Eric Frandsen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Light the A podcast. We've had a bit of a break here. Off season, didn't get as many chances to talk to you guys, interview any of the Aggie coaches and players. But we're back here as the Aggie sports season is about to get ready to go. August 17th, Aggie sports officially kicks off for the 2023-2024 season. Utah State soccer going to take on Weber State at Bell Field, 5 p.m., as I said, August 17th. So it's a home game, too. And to help us bring in that moment, we've got Utah State soccer head coach Manny Martins here to join us on the program. How you doing, Coach?
I am well. Thanks for having me.
So I guess, I don't know if I want to bring up any bad memories, but I feel like I have to bring up the end of last season. What was probably one of the more incredibly thrilling penalty shootouts, and especially with its length. Unfortunately, ending the season losing 19-18 in penalties. It's just, is that like a really bad memory, or is it just something where you just kind of have to sit back and be like, wow, that just happened?
Yeah, it's more of a wow, that just happened. I mean, obviously incredibly proud that the team got to put themselves in that position, right, to play in the postseason tournament, to take the game and all the way into penalty kicks against a very strong opponent, and then nearly set a world record for a number of penalties taken. Obviously, it would have been great to have a better outcome, but you don't always control that. So I was proud of how we handled it, how we handled the length of the penalties, and the fact that we had the opportunity to make it that far. But yeah, wish we could have had a better outcome.
Coach, how does that affect your team? We've seen in times past events like that can fuel a team, the underclassmen, to come back and reinvigorate it. It's a chip on their shoulder, while others it can get frustrating and distracting. How has that kind of affected your team in the offseason getting ready for this new year?
Well, I think the ending the season in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West tournament, I think it was a bit of a spark plug because previous year we were able to make it to the semifinals. So we don't take for granted getting to the postseason, but you're always trying to go do better, do one better. And so for us, the goal was, can we make it to the final and then potentially NCAA tournament? So we fell a little short of that. So this off season we had upwards to 12 girls playing in summer leagues, 8 of them playing in the highest summer league there is in the country right now. So that's a record number. So it just speaks of the mindset in regards to the preparation for this season.
So I do want to get some of the returning players, but I guess kind of talking about maybe a chip on your shoulder, looking at this season as far as a preview. You guys were picked 5th in the preseason poll, although not very far. There's a lot of teams clustered at the top when you look at the point value. It seems like everybody at the top is kind of close together. First place votes are spread around. You guys didn't get any first place votes, but what are your thoughts on just that, the perception of what the top end of the Mountain West is going to look like, where you guys are pretty much in there?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate from the standpoint of the how tight it is. I mean, my first 2 seasons in the conference, it wasn't going into the last weekend when we still had every team could have made the postseason and every team could have been eliminated. Speaks to the parity there is. Now, whether we see ourselves as 5th, I always like to think that we can do better. Each year we've done a little bit better than what the preseason polls say. So hopefully we keep doing that.
What do you see in those other schools, and why are they picked higher than you?
Well, to start, I think most of them finished ahead of us last season. So I think that maybe is part of the reason. Aside from that, I don't really know why or how everyone else thinks when they're voting. I do see that there's schools that are ahead of us. Some of them have a great history within the conference and have good returning players. So I can't say that it's inaccurate. I just take that and for what it is, and we'll go out and play one game at a time, see where it leaves us.
Do you feel like it may be a slight of disrespect? I mean, were you tied for fourth last year? You've got a very experienced team coming back with all the letter winners, all the starters coming back. Was that a bit of a sign of disrespect to your squad?
Well, I don't think it is that, but maybe a little bit overlooked, but that's not a bad thing. I think it's good to be an underdog. Sometimes better than being slaughtered at number one. Then you have a target on your back, and sometimes kids can read into that in ways that can be counterproductive. So for us, I love that we got things to prove, and it's great.
So I know, Eric, you mentioned some of the top returners. Now I was going down the list, looking at all the players you have returning, and it's, basically your entire back line, goalkeepers, some defensive midfielders. Seems like, and it was already a pretty impressive defense last year. Like, how good do you think this defense can be where so many good players on your defense are coming back and just for another year?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited for that. I mean, the group we have, in the back line, in the holding midfield and goalkeeper, they've pretty much started the majority of our games over the last 2 years. And to your point, over the last 2 years, statistically, we've been the best or tied for best or top two performing teams in the conference. So with the added experience, most of those players were playing in the summer as well. I feel very optimistic. Now, obviously, we've just been together for a little bit over a week, and we got a little bit of work to do to get into our rhythm. But those players are looking great. Addie Simmons, is looking like a maestro. She's controlling things. She's confident. She's making good decisions, clean on the ball. Kelsey Kafusi has grown in those areas as well. Continues to be our Ferrari. She's stronger, faster. Thinking faster, making decisions. We got Kylie Olsen and Alicia Butters that are such threats going forward, but incredible 1v1 defenders. I mean, if you give me a pool of any player in a conference that I could have in that back line, these are the four I would pick. And then I like the depth that we've added. Cassie Vigil, Kayla Sato, those are young players that I think are coming in to give us some depth. We have Hallie Kate Munson playing in the back line. Had a great spring for us. I think she's going to help us a lot. No, I'm really excited, really excited.
So, along with the back line, at goalkeeper, you seem like you're fairly deep as well. I guess kind of explain the rotation and what you're kind of expecting out of that group, and maybe who will end up playing more minutes this season. Because last year, it was split among 2 or 3 different players. What are you expecting out of that group this year?
Well, that's another exciting piece, right? Last year, not by design, it just happened with injuries and whatnot. All 3 goalkeepers played. Obviously, one graduated, but obviously starting with Deora Walton, who is on the verge of breaking every goalkeeping record in school history. With her coming back, and she was playing over the summer, she looked strong, confident. We're excited about that. Then we have Mackenzie returning, who last year played really well, and really grew a lot with that experience. And so she's coming in and ready to compete and make us better as well. And then we have a young goalkeeper that we recruited out of Colorado, Shay, who is very talented, very athletic. She's excited to be here and add to that union. So we like to call the goalkeepers our goalkeeper union. And between the 3 of them, I would say we have 3 starting goalkeepers, which is not very common. So it's really exciting.
We're talking to Manny Martins. He's the head coach of the Utah State women's soccer team, getting ready for their season coming up here shortly. And then flipping to the offensive side, 2 of your top returning goal scorers from last year coming from the midfield. Just what are you seeing there, which is offensively, seeing from your team, and kind of changes that we might see with your offense moving into the 2023 season?
Well, that's definitely one area that we want to grow. I thought we did well last year, but I think we left a lot of goals out on the field, created a lot of chances. But our goal is to be more efficient, more effective. So it's exciting to get Haley Chambers and London Miller back as our leading point getters from last year. As far as returners goes, London scored 4 goals, and I want to say I think she had like 2 or 3 assists, and then Kaylee had 3 goals, 2 assists. So it's great to have a foundation there. But we also have players like Caitlin Richens, who I think her potential is through the roof. And sadly, her freshman year she was hurt, so had to redshirt last year. Picked up an injury early in the season that took her out for most of the season, and right now she's healthy, she's strong, and I think she's going to be a big contributor. We have Rena Yonaha coming back, who I think is going to do a lot of great things for us. We have some young players coming back or coming in, some of the freshmen that I think are exciting. A couple of them joined us for the spring. We have Summer Diamond and Abby Schofield, and they had a great spring with us, and I think they're going to contribute a lot. But then we have a few others that just joined us this summer, like the likes of Kate Christian from Washington, who has been performing pretty consistently at a very high level over these first couple of weeks. We have a Brooklyn Smith that has some variety in where she can play. I already mentioned Cassie Vigil and Kayla Sato that add depth in our back line. So it's exciting. I think we will be able to do a few more things from an attacking standpoint that we probably didn't have the ability to do last year. And then I would have to mention Busy Aravalo, that every year gets a little bit better. And right now, we call her a monster in a very good way. She's strong, she's fast, she's looking like she's got a lot of conviction in her play. So it's exciting. We're really excited.
So kind of on the subject, Busy Revelo, London Miller, and there's a few other players that are all from around Cache Valley schools. I know Busy spent some time at Davis High School, I believe, but it seems like there's a really good pipeline of Cache Valley, girls soccer players coming to Utah State. Like, just how talented are the players around here that are all able to end up coming to Utah State, which is a pretty solid soccer program?
Listen, the Cache Valley is the best kept secret for soccer talent, so edit this part out of the show, please. But, we have Tenzi Knowles, who, we call her slippery. She is tough to contain. She's energetic. She's a very creative, fun player. She scored an epic goal for us, first time we beat BYU. We have Whitney Lopez, who last year was flying on full cylinders, then had an ACL tear. She's on the tail end of her recovery. You'll see her on the field this year. Obviously, Busy Aravalo that we already spoke about. We have another one that's London Miller, of course, one of our leading scorers, and Kylie Olson. So we have quite a bit of talent that's local, and we have some coming in the next year and two. Kids that are going to add to it. So no, the Cache Valley is a hotbed, and we're always going to work to keep the best Cache Valley talent here.
Speaking of additions, you've added to your coaching staff, and one of those very familiar name for those who have followed Utah State soccer in the past. But why don't you introduce us to some of the new staff members that are helping you kind of arrange and coach this squad for this year? Yeah,
so we, with NCAA allowing us to have a third assistant coach or a fourth accountable coach, we're able to bring Ashley Cardozo back as a coach, and she's been a great addition. She's spending a lot of time working with our midfielders, and obviously she's someone that has raised the bar here at Utah State, and to have her back mentoring, this incredibly talented group that we have, I feel very, very fortunate. And then obviously she's so passionate about the Aggies and Utah State, and so that's a double win. In addition to that, we just hired Michelle Dalton. she's been on a job literally a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now, and she's gonna coach our goalkeepers. She's also gonna work with our back line and help with set pieces. And again, a highly experienced player and coach. So she played in the Big Ten, then went on to play professionally in NWSL, played professionally in Europe in 3 different countries, and then came back and has coached in in SEC and a couple other conferences. So she brings a pretty well-rounded experience that I think is going to help mentor goalkeepers to make them better, but also to guide them as they chase their own dreams of playing post-collegiate soccer.
And we touched on forwards earlier. You were talking about some of the guys, some of the girls that are going to come and step up and play bigger roles because you graduated, I think, 3 of your forwards. One thing I noticed when I was looking at some of these players and some of the players you've brought up, they're all fairly young, freshmen, sophomores, redshirt freshmen, that kind of thing. Do you feel like the youth of those players will maybe be an obstacle for them to overcome, kind of get rolling early in the season, or do you feel like these players are mostly ready now and then they'll they're already a step ahead and ready to get going?
That's a really good question. I mean, we'll definitely have some players that are ready and bring some experience, even though they may be young. They played a lot last year, like Tess Wertz, like Kaylee Chambers. Obviously, Busy is a rising junior, and Tenzi's a rising junior. So we have some experience, and they're ready to rock. We got Nicole Hadlock, that's going to be a fifth-year senior. But some of the young ones, I think, naturally there'll be some challenges along the way. But what I found, particularly in the attacking side of things, sometimes the young attacking player has no fears, right? So almost a little bit of, you don't know any better. So you just go out there and do your best and have fun and be creative. So I think we're going to benefit from that because they're an incredibly talented and an athletic group with a lot of variety. We do have quite a few attackers this year. So I think we're going to benefit from it. And along the way, we'll help them navigate some of the challenges that they encounter. But overall, I think the balance will be positive.
Coach, last question for me, just looking at how you open things up. I mean, it's a beautiful venue, super fun place to go watch a game at the Chuck and Gloria Bell Field. But you've got some really fun games and opponents coming in to get things started with Weber State on the 17th, St. Louis on the 20th, and then that team from down south, Utah, coming up to town on the 24th. I mean, that's a heck of a way to get things started and a nice way to get things started, too, with all those games on your home field. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, my first couple of years, we opened on the road. So it's nice to open at home and have a few home games. We've traditionally done better at home. I think most teams do. So it's exciting. We're going to have 12 home games, which is highly unusual in soccer. So we'll enjoy spending that much time, sleeping in our own beds and playing in front of our fans. But we've countered that, that comfort with a pretty tough schedule. And part of that was, as a Mount West, we've been seen as a one-bid conference, and I think, it's time to put ourselves in a position where maybe if we are to fall short in the conference tournament, maybe we can get ourselves to an RPI that helps us get to the NCAA tournament. That's why we scheduled St. Louis, which was statistically the best attacking team in the country last year. Obviously, Utah, we don't have to speak a lot about. They're a good program and they're growing as well. And we've had some great battles with them. South Dakota State is always strong. Texas Tech on the road, they're right now projected to win the Big 12. We go down to Arizona, play Arizona State and Arizona, who I think will finish somewhere in the middle, upper half of the pack. And then obviously we have BYU at home. That's never easy. But I think those games will prepare us for conference and hopefully put us in a position where we're not dependent on having all the eggs in one basket when it comes to postseason.
So let's just tell us a little bit about, what you want to expect from the team during such a tough non-conference schedule. I imagine you're probably not going to get through with a perfect record, but what do you want to? I mean, that's the ideal, but what do you want to see out of your players when they're playing such tough competition with really no breaks in between some of these really tough opponents?
Yeah. Listen, we never talk about wins and losses other than maybe our first meeting of the year. We just address what our goal is. And I believe our goal needs to, if there's anyone in a country that doesn't start with the objective of winning a national championship, then I don't think they should be in the business. And then we focus on what we can control. And so we focus on our preparation, we focus on playing within our identity and our style, and we focus on getting better. And then from game to game, as a staff, we have a great staff that does a really good job of scouting the opponents and preparing our team. And so they do what they do. Our team gets on the field, does their best, and then at the end of non-conference, we'll see where we are. Would it be great to finish with a perfect record? Absolutely, but that's not the goal. If that happens, great. The goal is to just perform to our best in every game, and I think if we do that, we'll end up with a positive balance.
All right. Well, we're very grateful we could have you on, Coach, and wish you good luck, especially during a tough non-conference season. Hopefully, you guys are able to open up with a win next Thursday on August 17th, and also in the other home games. Be nice to have you playing in Cache Valley the first little bit. So thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, and go Aggies.
This has been the Light the A podcast with Jason Walker and Eric Frandsen. Be sure to like the episode and share your favorite part of it. You can also find the show on Twitter at 1069 The Fan.